Welcome to the Atlas Cast for Building Your Business, presented by best-selling author, speaker, and sales and business growth consultant, Archer Atlas. And here's your host, Archer Atlas.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 6 of the Atlas Cast for Building Your Business, hosted by me, Archer Atlas. Really quickly, if you'd like the transcript for this and every other show, as well as show notes and my best-selling book, Build Your Business Without Breaking the Bank, you can get them all free just by subscribing at www.theatlascast.com. That's www.theatlascast.com. All right, last reminder here. The month is winding down and time is running out for you to get my best-selling lead generation and client acquisition video program. Get more customers and clients now for 93% off, just $7. Just go to www.theatlascast.com/offer. That's OFFER. Okay, welcome to episode 6 of the Atlas Cast. Last episode we covered the very opening of the ask approach. And by very opening, we're talking about the first 8 to 10 words. This episode, we'll take it much further as promised. If you've missed any of the last 3 episodes, I highly recommend you to go back now and listen to them, especially the last one. What we've covered so far will help you make better sense of what we're about to go over now, especially last episode's content with the opener. The opening is the most important section of the ask approach. It's what everyone hears. Everyone. And what's said will determine what the prospect hears next. If you don't capture their attention right away and demonstrate that you are someone worth listening to and that you have something to offer them, you've lost before you've even begun. This reminds me of something I heard my sophomore year of high school, and it was powerful enough to stick with me. At a beginning of the year assembly, the headmaster, whose name was William Williams, by the way. Anyone want to guess where he went to school? You get a gold star if you said Williams College. Anyway, I don't want you to think I'm being disrespectful or making fun. This was a smart and great man, and he obviously had an impact on my life. All these years later, I'm quoting something he said. So there you have it. It's just funny that a man named William Williams would go to Williams College. All right, back to the point. He was talking about the importance of starting strongly. Now, he was talking about starting the school year off strongly, and what we're talking about is starting the conversation off strongly. What he said was this. He compared starting the school year off with launching a rocket. Now, you have this rocket that's going, hundreds of thousands of miles into space? They have a target. Now, if they're off by just 1/10 of 1 degree at launch, they'll find themselves millions of miles off course when it's time for them to get up into space and try to get to their target. 1/10 of 1 degree, millions of miles off course. I don't know. Is it millions? That seems like a lot. He also pointed out that nobody's perfect. We all mess up. He said if you could delay any missteps until after the launch, though, it'll be easier to correct that and you won't be millions of miles off course. Same goes for the ask approach or really any sales conversation and then some. If you mess up in the first few weeks of school, you're probably going to still have the end of the year to fix things. That is, if you don't mess up bad enough to get yourself kicked out. But with an ask approach, a cold call, or any sales conversation, that beginning of the conversation might just be all you have if you don't hook them in and show that you're worth listening to and have something for them. Remember, everyone's constantly tuned into WIIFM. What's in it for me? All right, enough talk about spaceships in school. Let's talk about generating some leads and making some money. Let's go to that example opening that we went over last episode. Hello, John. Archer Atlas, Atlas Advisors. Reason for the call? I want to send you a white paper on customer reactivation and invite you to a webinar titled Keeping Your Clients Yours. Fair enough? Now, off the bat, we can make this opening a lot better. That was sent in from one of my coaching group mastermind members, and we fixed it up a bunch. I just threw my name and company in there to protect the innocent. Instead of, I want to send you a white paper on customer reactivation, why don't we change that to white paper on how to reactivate 30 to 70% of your dormant customers on average. Maybe get rid of that on average part. Remember, every word needs to own its keep, and we need to absolutely be very economical in our use of language. However, that line serves a purpose. It demonstrates that this is real. People have done this. Also worth noting is that the use of numbers, especially odd numbers for whatever reason, makes it all the more powerful. What can make it even more powerful is some more specificity. Wow, I got that word right. 30 to 70% is better than no numbers at all. But if the numbers were, let's say, 37%, then saying 37% would be much more powerful than even that range of numbers that we just covered, 30 to 70. Okay, then the next line is asking them to attend a webinar. I want to talk about this right now because I've had a few questions on this. The key to an ask approach is to offer value and then ask for something in exchange. This example approach offers a white paper and asks for the prospect to attend a webinar. Now that's more value, but that's irrelevant right now. Why do we do this? For one, none of us are really in the business of giving things away. That's not what makes any of us, myself included, any money. Yes, demonstrating value and giving this white paper away can definitely and will lead to more business and more money. However, do we really want to leave that to chance? Not at all. We want to guide the prospect into making the logical decision that's in his or her best interest, which is buying from you eventually. People want to be led, so guide them. 2, we want to condition the prospect to be used to us making offers to them. If all you're doing with your prospect is giving things away all the time and not asking anything of them, they'll get very used to that. Then, once you actually do make an offer, it's something they're unaccustomed to, and they'll be more likely to pass on it. Furthermore, they may even be turned off by you changing gears and asking something of them. Hell, they might even be annoyed. And honestly, the only one to blame in that situation would be you. You're the one that's changing the relationship. You're the one that's being inconsistent by, God forbid, asking them to do or buy something. This reminds me of something I learned from copywriting and sales legend Gary Halbert. Now, Gary made hundreds of millions of dollars in direct mail, and he had a process. As soon as an order came in, before it was processed and shipped out, before the accountants counted the money and deposited it, before anything, Gary would send out what he called his "Thank you, please send more money" letter. This letter would pat the customer on the back and congratulate them on making such a smart decision in buying. Then it would ask the prospect to buy more. And it worked like gangbusters. It conditions prospects and customers to expect offers to be made, making them more likely to buy more. Look, the hardest thing to do is to get someone to buy or do anything the first time out. But once they've done it, the best possible time to get them to do more of it is right away, immediately. Why do you think gas stations and supermarkets have those impulse items at the register? It's because they get bought. When people buy, they're in a buying mood. And that's the best time to ask them to buy more. Okay, so with the ask approach, we're not exactly asking anyone to buy anything, but we're asking them to do something with this offer of value, even if it requires no effort on their part at all. We've interrupted the pattern they were in right before we've called. We're giving them something. This doesn't happen all day, every day. This yes to this offer of value needs to be capitalized on by you getting something out of it, an exchange of value. Plus, when there's not an even exchange, people's red flags go up, way up. I saw this study done where people were handing out $100 bills, actually throwing them in people's car windows. The amount of bills that got thrown back out and onto the ground was absolutely astonishing. People are always looking for the catch. No one thinks they're ever getting something for free. So their radars come out and the red flags go up. By offering value and then immediately asking something of the prospect, they know exactly what this is, quote unquote, costing them. They see what they're getting out of it. Plus, you've already begun to condition them into saying yes to you and your offer that you actually make. So that's number 2. Lastly, number 3. We ask for something in exchange for this value we're offering because it weeds out the freebie seekers, tire kickers, and bad prospects. Plus, it firms up the prospects that say yes. It's really easy to just say yes to someone offering you something for free. But it's even easier to forget all about it and not value that something at all. By asking for something in exchange for that value you're giving them, they are now invested in this. They're more likely to consume what you send them, they're more likely to have some affinity with you, and they're more likely to eventually buy from you. They'll have more value attached to what you send them when they have some skin in the game. Plus, this saves you time, money, and aggravation of pursuing someone that just basically yas you to death, trying to get you off the phone and out of their lives, totally forgotten about forever. You're weeding them out and saving yourself from pursuing them. More importantly, you're shoring up actual prospects. If you just send some value to people asking nothing in return, you'll get less of these people to convert than if you actually ask something of them up front. It makes them more likely to value, consider, and consume whatever it is that you send them. That makes them more likely to consider you down the road and more likely to buy. And buying is in their best interest as well as yours. You're helping people by doing this. All right, there's actually one last final reason to ask for something in exchange for the value you offer. There's no such thing as free lunch. You know it, and the prospect knows it. Everyone knows it. There's no such thing as free lunch. So the prospect already knows that your free offer comes at a price. It's better to be upfront about that price because honestly, they will expect the worst anyway, and what you're offering is actually a pretty good deal. As the saying goes, better the devil you know than the one you don't. All right, I guess we covered this a little earlier with reason number 2, but it's worth repeating. You know, back when I was a stockbroker, and actually before I was on my own trading clients, and I was just an account opener, I used to get very frustrated. I'd call up these prospects and make them what I thought was an irresistible offer. I'd offer them a small block of stock of a phenomenal company that was poised to make a big run upward. And this was all true. I was confident, and typically, the stocks I opened accounts selling, they all went up, sometimes big time. And I'd make this offer commission free. I'd even pay for the ticket charges to make it easy for the prospect to say yes and become one of my firm's clients. Now, I'd have these guys on the phone. I'd be selling them something that was absolutely phenomenal. And these prospects would love the stock. They'd know nothing was in it for me on this one transaction. They'd know I was only after their future business, after this worked out, exactly like I said it would. And they'd be able to get this block for a lower total cost than anywhere else. They didn't have to pay their own broker commission to buy it for them. They didn't have to pay the ticket charges that the exchanges charge. They were getting something they knew was great, and they were getting it cheaper than anywhere else they could get it. So, why'd they say no? It's because they knew what was in store for them after they bought. They would then be someone else's client. They now have one more person they'd feel obligated to send money to every month to buy more stock. And even though they knew in their heart that this was an amazing opportunity presented to them in buying this small block of stock, they knew it would make them money. They still didn't pull the trigger because of the future costs and obligations and stress that making this smart move in buying would bring them. So they didn't do it. Consequently, this same type of prospect will pay for tips and advice and investing information from other sources, ones that only offer their advice and have no interest in them actually using it. Had I called these same prospects up and offered them tips for, let's say, $500 a month, many of them might take me up on that offer. The certainty and knowing the devil they're dealing with gives them more confidence in going through that transaction. All right, so that's why we asked for something in exchange. There's no free lunch. You're shoring up real prospects and repelling bad ones and the ones that just yah you to death. You're conditioning the prospect. You're doing the best to stay off their negative radar and raising red flags in their mind. And none of us are in business just to give stuff away for free. So it's important to ask for something in exchange for the value offer on an ask approach. So with that, what do you ask for? Now this is a very good question. You want to ask for something that's obviously easy to say yes to. You don't want to make them jump through hoops the first time around. Now that may be a strategy you use later on, but it's not a good one right now off the bat. You basically want it low risk and obvious. You want it logical. You want them to come to the rational and logical conclusion that it's in their best interest to say yes to you. So do what you can to make it so. I like to offer even more value. but value that requires some commitment on the prospect's part. I like offering webinars, presentations, meetings, and such that offer even more value and are presented in the Ask approach as being educational in nature, because they are, mainly. However, if you know anything about what I've been talking about this episode and every other one, you know there's going to be a time in that webinar, presentation, or meeting where an offer is asked for. And it would be insane not to do so. Even if a prospect says no the first time out, you should always still ask. Ask that time and basically every single time. Now, there are times when you don't ask. Now, they are few and far between, and we'll cover them in later episodes. But just know that you should always ask for the order, every time, except for on strategic occasions where you have a plan in place and a reason not to ask for the order. Here, I'll stay consistent and ask you to buy something right now. August is coming to an end. With it comes the end of my special offer for you for my latest video program on the Ask approach. Get more customers and clients now. Get it now through the end of the month for only $7. Just go to www.theatlascast.com/offer. That's theatlascast.com/offer. OFFER. As always, it's covered by my 30-day money-back guarantee, but you won't need it. The people that paid $99 for it got it for a steal. You're getting it for only $7. Just go to www.theatlascast.com/offer. And you know what? I'll sweeten the pot for you too. For those of you that take me up on this generous 93% offer, I'll throw in some special unannounced bonuses. Just buy it for only $7 and shoot me an email at archer@theatlascast.com letting me know you've bought it. I'll get back to you with your secret bonus. All right, that was me making an offer. An easy, low-risk, high-value offer. Some of you will be smart and take me up on it too, and you'll be rewarded. Okay, last point I wanted to make. It's about perfectionism. It's bad. Perfectionism is bad. Now, I know we covered this a few episodes ago, but it's worth saying it now, especially about the opening to your Ask approach. You're not going to get it perfect right away. You won't even know what perfect looks like until you test multiple things multiple times. But I will give you an example of how a flat-out, not good Ask type approach can produce great results. Back when I was just a lowly cold caller on Wall Street, even before I started opening accounts, as I mentioned earlier, I had the following pitch. Hello, John. Archer over at Stock International. How's your day? Great. Reason for the call? I represent a full-service brokerage firm here in New York. Not a sales call. Just want to introduce myself, send you some literature, and down the road, run one major recommendation. Fair enough? I'll just say this now with the limited time we have here. That pitch is not very good and can be improved in many, many ways. And we'll cover those ways next time out. But it's worth mentioning that exact bad pitch brought in countless amounts of qualified leads, new clients, and revenue for me personally. A bad pitch can even bring in good results if it's actually used. Now just imagine what a good pitch can do for you. You won't have to imagine too long because we're covering that next time out with some real-world examples and numbers. I'm looking forward to it and seeing you there. Oh wait, one last thing. Well, two. One, once again, you have until the end of this month to get more customers and clients now for just $7. Make the smart business decision and get it at www.theatlascast.com/offer if you haven't already done so. Two, if you want the transcripts, videos, and show notes for these episodes, all you have to do is go to www.theatlascast.com and subscribe. Plus, you'll get my best-selling book, Build Your Business Without Breaking the Bank, as well as the audio program, Going Up, How to Generate More and Better Leads Quickly and Inexpensively. That covers the Ask approach in a little more detail. Get it all free just by subscribing at www.theatlascast.com. And in the spirit of this episode and letting you know exactly the devil I am, when you subscribe, I will make you some offers. Now don't worry, I won't be annoying with them because I know you can unsubscribe at any time. Just know that you will get some major value alongside those offers. It's worth your while. Just go to www.theatlascast.com. All right, this ends episode 6. See you on episode 7 when we get to improving the opening some more and cover some real actual numbers this ask approach can produce for you. This is Archer Atlas, best-selling author, speaker, consultant, and someone with above average knowledge of cold calling and lead generating. And this has been the Atlas Cast for building your business. See you next time out.